Alright y'all, welcome back to the channel and to some more turkey patterning. And I've got a setup today that we've already tested on the channel, but it was one of the very first videos that I put out a long time ago. And we do things a little bit differently now, so I really wanted to come back and revisit this and show a little bit better in depth for this specific setup, because this setup was tested alongside of a few others in one video. So it really didn't get quite the time that it deserves. And I know that it's a really good performer, so it definitely deserves its own little section here. But as for the load we've got out here today, it is some of the Winchester Longbeard XR loads. These are the 12 gauge, 3-inch, 1050 feet per second, outs and 7/8 of number 6s. And as for what setup we're going to be running them through, I've got my Remington 1187 Premier here, and I threw in this choke. This is kind of my tried and true Kicks Gobblin Thunder 655 constriction choke. And from what I've tested and shot with these before, this 655 and those Longbeard 6s really work together. So we should definitely see some impressive results for a lead load today. But as for the test, it's the same as usual. I have a turkey target set up downrange at 40 yards. I also have my chronograph, so we'll see what kind of speed we're getting. So let's get you guys a view of the target. I'll head up to 40 yards and take our shot. We'll look at our chrono number and then we'll go see how they performed. So let's head over here and shoot them and see just how good of a combination that this is. Okay, so that round gave us 1291 through the chronograph. The box called for 1050, so we're well over 200 feet per second faster than what the box claimed, which is definitely pretty interesting. So this shell was moving out relatively quickly there, but nothing too out of the ordinary necessarily for this gun anyway. I know that it can produce faster velocities than what the box claimed. So nothing too out of the ordinary here, but let's go down to 40 yards and see what kind of devastation we actually had. Alright, so now we're down here at 40 yards, and like I said a second ago, this is pretty much devastation. There's really not much other way to put that. I mean, we absolutely have a dead bird there, and he may not even have a head anymore at 40 yards. Now, I believe the reason why we see a little bit of this pattern pushed off to the left there is due to the pretty stiff wind that we got out here today. It would be blowing from right to left on your screen. I waited till the lowest wind I could, but it just is what it is. But either way, we can still absolutely see the core area of our pattern there. And there's really not much to argue with there. Now, with it being lead 6s and the Longbeard 6s and that Kicks 655, we do see a couple of these flyers around the outside edges over here, and maybe one down there on that corner. But that is absolutely what I typically see out of that combination. But when you're performing like that at 40 yards on a turkey, I'm not going to complain too much about a couple of flyers. But man, that is a deadly combination right there with that gun and choke and load combo. But I will say, I would be a little bit concerned taking a bird at 20 yards, 25 yards or so, because that right there is going to be really tight in at those closer ranges. But if you like shooting lead shells because they're cheaper and you like the Longbeard loads, I mean, get you a box of the 6s and a Kicks 655 and try it out. Because clearly, that combination is not going to have any issues at all taking a bird out to 40 yards. But just like I figured, I wouldn't be able to argue too much with that. That is absolutely devastation, no matter what way you really look at it, for sure right there. Alright, and this is the wad we got out of that shell, and nothing really too special to see here. It's just your typical Longbeard XR wad, but there's nothing down in there except a little bit of dusty buffer material, but nothing out of the ordinary. And these couple little rips we see in the corners here, that's very typical of those Kicks chokes with that kind of porting. So nothing out of the ordinary here, and it did what it was supposed to do, I believe. Alright y'all, well, what did you think about that kind of performance? I knew we were in for a good hot core there, and we definitely saw that. Now, I do think the wind played into it a little bit, and of course, now that we're done shooting, as you can see behind me, there's no wind, magically. But such is life, that's the way it goes. But either way, you can't really argue with that. I knew that was a really hot combination coming in to this video, and I knew that it definitely deserved its own video instead of just being chucked in with some other testing a long time ago. So what did y'all think about that? And have you tried this combination, and is that the kind of results that you get out of it as well? I definitely think those Longbeard 6s prefer that tighter choke. But what do you guys think? And should we revisit a couple of the other very, very early tests on the channel to kind of give them a more thorough performance and thorough test and see what they can do on their own instead of just being jumbled in with another video? But either way, I'm going to jump back to testing. We've got a whole bunch more stuff coming, and now that hunting season's starting to open up, we're definitely going to be out there in the woods a lot. So stay tuned for all that. And with that being said, I'll see y'all in the next one.